I was just wondering and hoping you would stream tonight. Good girl. Bitch, I'm the man. So Chris Aguirre, have you got my lines then yet, brother? What's up, YouTube? Namaste. Namaste, YouTube. Namaste, YouTube. There's the Zoom link. You can come join. All right, we're officially streaming everywhere at once. Even though my apprentice Tony TK said, don't do that. Don't stream everywhere at once. Just do one at a time. Nah, I'm an all-out kind of guy. But it's good because we got a couple people here, a couple people there, a few people over there, and a couple people there. So it all adds up. You, my people, just different ones of you like different apps. Just share my Facebook stream to Facebook, and then we're good to go. Yup. There's the post. All right. Cool. Kaksani, I have heard the weekend was great on your side. On my side? Who told you that? Kaksani, be honest now. Who did you hear that from? Don't lie. If you're on the YouTube, you should definitely click that like and comment. I'll bet one of you is probably Kat. Kat likes to go live on a bunch of apps just to show support. Lions Den. Where was it said in the Lions Den? I think that was about other people's parts. I don't know that I did that well. I think I've transmitted a lot of good information, but maybe my vibe was off a little bit. We'll see. We'll see. It's always in the days after you notice. All right. We're going to start here in a minute. Prepare your minds and your brain cells for the information that will help you tap in. And why you want to keep coming to Yogi Chris podcasts, why you want to keep coming to the AZD Beats camps, why you maybe want to sign up for the silent flute. If you're tuning in from my yoga YouTube, you probably want to sign up for my silent flute lecture tomorrow. It's going to blow you away. Yep. And guys on Clubhouse, you're totally welcome to be invited to speak. Just make sure you're muted until we talk. I got you hooked up to the speaker, so we'll hear you when you unmute. Okay. That's good for now. And let's begin. Where's my mic? Here it is. Make sure it's right there. Good. Record. All right. What's up, everybody? This is Science of Peace podcast. I'm your host, Yogi Chris, PhD. And these get posted on my Yogi the Yogi page, the Yoga YouTube, what is it? The Ninth Limb Yoga YouTube page. And also on the Libsyn, on the Spotify, on the Apple, follow, subscribe anywhere. Today I'm talking about sleeping on the floor. This is what we do here at the Stoic Temple. And we were doing it before we started the temple, started the beast process. It's probably something that many people have done at some point in their life, either willingly, like camping, sleeping in a tent, or, making a pillow fort or something out of the couch cushions. But definitely even passing out, let's say you've probably passed out on the floor before, but consciously sleeping on the floor, making that your bed. First of all, I'm in a small cottage. That's where I live. But the cottage has so much space without a mattress in it, without a bed in it. And that was the owner of the premises. It was his first startle when he came. He's like, "Where's your bed?" He's like, "None of us have a bed here. This is a Stoic temple." And amazing things start happening when you sleep on the floor with your alertness. You become so alert. Maybe you could call it the quality of sleep, but I'll tell you, only the first few nights trying to sleep on the floor did I feel as if my sleep suffered in any way. Once I got used to it, and yeah, you'll sleep on your side. You won't sleep on your face too much. You won't sleep on your back too much. You'll sleep on your side. Maybe you could squeeze something between your thighs so you don't have any back pain or whatever. But you become alert. You're grounded. You have a different connection when you walk. I do a lot of yoga. When you put your hands on the ground, there's a different connection, being that you have never not been on the ground. I'm sitting in a chair right now. My feet are still on the ground. It's not like I don't lay on the couches or whatever, but I haven't slept on a bed, in a bed, whatever, for at least 12 months now. Every single night, not without exception. Honestly, when I lay in a bed, it feels weird, like soft. It's like the difference between like a gladiator and like a marshmallow politician. Like that's the difference between sleeping on the floor and sleeping in a bed. Now, girls, I think girls should sleep in the bed most of the time. It makes a girl too hard to sleep on the floor. And I have a wooden floor. And so what? Maybe you have carpeted floor. It's a little better there. You can put blankets under you, whatever. Make it workable for you. But I think once or twice a week at least, a girl should probably experience sleeping on the floor, because the alertness that you gain from that would only benefit you in your life. If you become too alert as a girl, but you don't have a guy, then I think that could be really shocking in the world. Try it. You'll see. I mean, don't try it. But if you wanted to test it, if you're like, man, he's just being sexist and limiting women. First of all, if you have a man and you sleep on the floor and he doesn't, you are definitely dominant over him. Guaranteed. You are harder than he is. And he is more emotionally unstable than you. Now, if he sleeps on the floor and you sleep on the floor, do you do it the same amount? There's a hardness that's going to come to you. There's going to be sometimes you're going to want to sleep in the bed. I don't know. It's not like I never feel the pull of sleeping in a cushiony bed, but it's just, I like being hard, man. I like feeling beast. I like having an advantage over the woman who fancies me, because she has a lot of advantages over me. I was at yoga teacher training 5 years ago, 6 years ago. And there was a picture book of like some old yoga guy. It was BK Iyengar, who's like an 80, 90-year-old yoga Indian guy. And he wears the traditional kind of, it's like a loincloth kind of thing. It looks like a fabric. It's not a G-string, but it's like got the shape of a G-string. It's just a thicker cloth though. It goes up the butt crack and wraps around and covers the groin. And that's what he's doing his yoga poses in. And it's a picture book just showing him doing these amazing poses. Now he's kind of fat and he's kind of old and whatever. And some girl at the yoga training had a problem with that, as if like, well, a woman would would be shamed for wearing so little. Yeah, because no woman is looking at him thinking all the things that she would do to him given the chance. Like, women don't think like that about the guy. Even if he was a stud, most women wouldn't think like that. They would want to talk to him. They'd be attracted to him. Maybe a few very sexual women want to have his babies just from the picture. But that's very different. A man seeing a woman next to nothing doing yoga poses is immediately thinking, I would totally have babies, but no commitment to her. I would totally make babies with her. I would make the babies. I just don't want to stick around for the babies. And he being aggressive by nature, she's putting herself in danger by doing that. There's a big difference between men and women. And sleeping on the floor will cultivate the masculine alertness in her, that he needs to be something more if she's going to be with him. Now, if she doesn't have a man and she's sleeping on the floor, again, once or twice a week, maybe 3 times a week, I think it's going to raise your alertness in a really good way. The world around you, around everybody, men and women, is taking advantage of you. It's taking advantage of your, what's the word? We walk around with a kind of mindset that it's almost hypnotized. We're almost walking around hypnotized. We are. It is a hypnosis and into the minutia and the monotony and the mundane. And even if you're all unplugged and woke and spiritual and doing your own things, your own rituals, the belief systems of the society you find yourself in you're soaked in it. You're swimming in an ocean of other people's beliefs and other people's the frames or the context that they bring, which is like the implications or the insinuations that people bring to conversations with you. They're carrying a whole lot of context that they're not saying. It's unsaid communication. And as we interact with people in the world, we get all interwoven into their subjective contexts, not knowing it. And that later becomes miscommunications and whatever. And so this is, whoa, that's kind of heavy what I just said. What needs to happen in that situation is just the gradual day by day replacing and cleaning of your social connections, of your sphere through social media, in person, your business, your relationships. Wow, I really kind of opened up a big subject talking about that. That was way beyond the sleeping on the floor. But the alertness, that's why you don't want to, as a girl, if you don't have a guy, you don't want to jump into just sleeping on the floor too much, because you could become so alert. What will happen is you'll become aware of how compromised you have become in your life in terms of your interactions with men and how vulnerable you are to men. If they had such an ambition, you're relying on men being nice to you. You're relying on men's goodness. You're relying on men being in control of themselves. And that's a danger. Josiah, what's up? You unmuted, brother. You got something to add? No? All right.
Oh, keep going, Chris.
All right. By the way, if you catch this recording anywhere, you should follow it on whatever app you're following on when you hear it. Okay, so sleeping on the floor, alertness, sleeping should be definitely during nighttime hours. You shouldn't be sleeping during daytime hours unless it's like little naps. The energy that you'll have throughout your day will be tremendous. You'll feel like electricity. If you put your sleep in during the night hours, and the more you exercise, exercise, it's a good kind of exhaustion. The exhaustion you feel from work has a lot of tension in it that's not necessarily like a healthy kind of tension. What I mean by that is the tension that you get in your body from exercise, from calisthenics or some whole body holistic yoga or movement. Even if you're at the gym and lifting weights, like you're probably doing some kind of full body thing. And that's different than, let's say, waitressing or working in the yard or doing construction all day. There's these repeated movements that come with that you're sacrificing your body for the task. And that's not the same as exercise. You're generally exercising for the sake of the body. So it brings with it a different kind of tension. So the exhaustion will help you sleep readily on the floor, and you'll get very familiar with the floor. And early morning exercise, it'll also help you wake up early when you sleep on the floor. And that's, wow. The power of waking early consistently, on the momentum it gives you in your life, you get a head start on everybody, all of your competitors. Your group of people, your clan or your tribe will benefit from you waking earlier. And you'll learn to ride that wave. You'll have a kind of intuition. Things will open up for you. The world is less electromagnetized at 3 to 6 a.m. And as you start to hear the birds wake up and the traffic pick up, you'll feel a sense of appreciation, a sense of awe, and a sense of advantage. Like you got a little head start on all of that. And now you'll feel and you'll find your own religion and your own spirituality as you practice your rituals and your physical practices before sunrise, before the traffic picks up, before the birds pick up. That's where you're going to, as we call it here at the Base One Stoic Temple here in San Jose, California, we call it getting tapped in. This is how you tap in. You tap into that raw survival energy that you have been brainwashed off of. You have been taught to sacrifice yourself for another, sacrifice yourself for the group, sacrifice yourself for the government, for a cause outside of you, sacrifice yourself for your family. I think there are instances like that happen between men and women, that happen between adults and their children. But for the most part, you're you shouldn't be sac. You're about number one, and you're lying if you're not about number one. It's just, that's what the brainwashing is a lie. So people will repeat that lie that I'm all about something other than myself, but really it's a very selfishly motivated philosophy. People feel good being about other people and they make that their priority. But you'll feel a lot better when you're actually about yourself, and you'll be stronger for the people that you're allied with and connected with, the people that follow you, the people that depend on you, when you take care of number one. And that's going to come down to some very basic, that doesn't mean be callous in your communication. That doesn't mean take responsibility where responsibility is needed for other people, for your students, for your clients, for your relationships. You step up where you need to step up, but you will bend your reasons and your intentions to be justifiably and honestly selfish. You'll make your reasons very selfish. You won't sacrifice yourself. You will make it so that your actions that are altruistic towards other people are very selfishly motivated. And that's survival energy. If it keeps the family and the tribe together and you're stronger with the family and tribe together, then it's a survival motive. But sleeping on the floor helps tap into that survival. I can't explain why exactly. Sleeping on the floor, sleeping in a tent taps into that too. But you know what? I knew a girl, and I've known many guys, but I knew a girl that slept in a tent for many months with her boyfriend or whatever he was. It was a very weak relationship because he was a very weak man and she was getting with other guys throughout the years that they had been together. But they were honest about it with each other, so whatever. But that's a very weak man. That's a man that's not going to be very protective of his children because he's not very protective of the mother of his children. And so that breeds a very weak next generation. And so was she tapped into survival? You got to understand, everybody's coming from a different place in their life. So relative to where she came from, it probably was. She was probably tapping into more survival. I would say the highest survival would be to be with a strong man. That's going to spell out a much better survival for you, because one day she's going to be 42, all used up by that man. And he's either going to be so pathetic that she's just completely frustrated and unsatisfied, or he's going to move on because he's made something of himself and he'd rather have a younger woman that he could make something with. I know this. I've studied the subject too many times from too many different books and angles and experts. And of course, I'm not a completely inexperienced man at 34. And we coach a lot of men here at the Stoic Temple. So I am very versed in what I'm talking about. Even if I'm slightly off, I'm closer than any of you would be. I believe this. And if you want to challenge that, I'm open to you unmuting and we can talk. Just let me know, raise your hand or something. Okay, so sleeping on the floor, tapping that energy, because when you tap the survival energy for yourself, you'll be able to make decisions for yourself and for your life with a confidence and certainty, and you won't be looking outside of you too much. That doesn't mean that you should never look outside. I have a teacher, I ask. I have friends, I ask. Occasionally, I might even ask my dad something. The women that follow me, they ask me. A lot of the students, they ask me stuff. It's important to trust who you're looking up to. There's this independent, there's an independent woman movement, but there's also an independent person movement. Everybody, the MGTOW movement does it too, where they're like, I need to completely heal from my past wounds and be completely content with myself before I involve in any relationship. You're fragile, you're brittle, and healing all alone by yourself just makes you a fragile but bitter human, really, because you still don't know how to be strong in a relationship. You just know how to pretend to be strong alone. And that's just what it is. And I get the tendency also, we do want to heal and be strong, but it is a getting back up on that horse kind of thing. And sleeping on the floor, it taps just a little bit more of your potential. You got a little bit more potential than what you've been giving because you're in a fog. You're living in a foggy mind, a foggy mindset. And that's what I mean by the alertness. That's what I mean by the hypnosis. I think that's closer to the word I was thinking of earlier. It's still not it, but it's a fog. And the processes that we do here and the routines and simple things that I give you. I have my yoga group, my women's yoga group, my men's yoga group, because I think they should be taught separately. And my silent food program. And of course, the beast camps that we do here as part of the AZD Lions Den program. The processes are to make one more alert. You're being taken advantage of. You're being taken advantage of even by the pseudo-spiritualists, fucking trying to get you tapped in with aliens and tapped in with spirits and tapped in with everything except your natural way of being. They're trying to convince you your natural way of being is some like alien way of being. No, that's alien. And their agendas is not in your interest. But you got to look at it from a core survival. You're a god inside of an animal. You got to appease both unless you're trying to be some kind of like ascetic. But I don't know why. You'd only listen to my podcast once or twice if you were that. Because I'm not ascetic enough. I'm smoking weed right now. Like, that's not ascetic. There are some ascetics that do smoke weed, but they are very ascetic pretty much in everything else. They're very skinny. They sleep outside. This is that brand of yoga. It's not that it toughens you up so much. It just makes you alert. And it does make you a little bit tougher. Just a little bit. Not as much as you think. It just makes you more alert. And so you become less tolerant of bullshit and less tolerant of people's suppression because you're already just a little bit more on edge. You're not so soft with people. You're not so compromising, I suppose, is the word. So very powerful practice to sleep on the floor. I'd be happy to entertain any of your takes or opinions or questions about sleeping on the floor. I think that's the gist of what I wanted to get across with it. I can go more and more into the process of what to do, but of course, the secret inner workings of things are reserved for the paid level programs. But whatever advice I give you, I think it's helpful. I don't think there's anything I say on these shows that are not helpful. If I did, I would stop them. So that's probably why I'm stopping this show at this point. But I'll entertain any questions. Maybe I should end the recording at this point. Let's see if there's anything typed. And I would immediately answer that. No, we got viewers. Oh, we got Tomash. Sleeping on the floor takes testosterone to higher level, which makes person intolerant to bullshit. Well, I don't know the science on that, but that sounds real fascinating. Maybe that's why women shouldn't do it too much. But they should probably do it a little bit. They're eating just as much soy as all the rest of us in the farm, the human farms that we're all in. So you should probably up your testosterone just a little bit, just not too much. Right? Very interesting. All right. Well, I'll keep it going on the live stream. We'll end the recording for the posting. Josiah, even sex floor feels more natural than being in the bed. Whoa. Now this is going to be PG-13 recording. Whoa. Feels more natural than being in the bed. Yeah, sex in a bed is, I don't mind sex in a bed actually at all. I think it's all pretty, natural. Natural sex is beast, man. It's just savage. Like natural sex is fucking raw, There's not a lot of like passionate lovemaking in nature if you ever saw. You know what I mean? But yeah, I know what you mean being on the ground. I grew a lawn here for like 8 months. It's really thick and lush and comfortable. I want to experience it out there maybe. All right, that's enough of that. So I'll end this recording and play a song. And if you guys want to stick around for a minute, ask anything more, that'd be great. Go to ninthlimb.com and sign up for the silent flute. If you're at this point in the recording, you'd love it. So go to ninthlimb.com with the number 9 and sign up for the silent flute. And I'll see you there. Namaste. The recording has stopped. All right, I'm going to play this song, the remainder of it, and then if you guys got anything.
Hey, Chris, I have a quick question.
Oh, the song, though. All right, wait, I'll just turn it lower. What's up?
So, when it comes to sleeping on the floor, how would you introduce someone to that kind of discipline? Like, let's say they get a little curious about it and they start asking about it.
Well, there's a powerful quote from this last weekend's event that I've heard AZD say before, and it was something like, to the person that wants help, they can't be stopped. Something like that. Like the person who's seeking help, there's no stopping them. So the person that's seeking help, when you tell them sleep on the floor, they don't ask too many questions. It's not that difficult. Sleep, you lay on the ground and you fall asleep. Now, if they got a lot more questions than that, I mean, I basically said what you need. Use pillows, use blankets, figure it out so you fall asleep. Eventually, you can take some of those things away. I'm not telling you to be completely stoic, like deny your senses, whatever, like that kind of thing. It's a practice that recalibrates a person from the slothy, foggy life that they've cultivated with decades of sleeping in a cushiony bed, finding it more and more difficult to wake up early, with their core skeletal muscles deteriorating and their health and their intuition. And I mean, they're just fucked up. If the person's asking too many questions, I think they're more trying to convince you out of doing it than understanding how they should do it. You know, but in any persuasive language, to persuade someone, you just go first. So you be enthusiastic and you're like, man, it's so fucking awesome. Like, you haven't done it. Like, what do you want me to tell you? You got to do it. You got to try it. Like, come on, just do it. What do you got to lose? Like, just do it once. Like, come on. How many questions you gonna ask? Like, if the person resists that, then they're trying to convince you, not themselves. Julia, you need a new photo on your thing. Take that mask off. That shit's dumb. You don't need a mask there. You know, I know 300 or 400 men and myself, and none of us wore a mask the entire quarantine. And the only one of any of us knew that even was affected was somebody that got in a car accident and tested negative at a hospital, and they took him to another hospital, and he tested positive at that hospital, and then they fed him medicine and killed him. He didn't even have sickness. He got in a car accident. It was fake. Take that shit off. Fake hoax. Hoax virus. Big hoax. I traveled everywhere. I went from Florida to Texas to California and back again a bunch of times. And that's what all my friends do. They fly all over the place. Nobody's caught anything. Oh, but it only affects the pre-existing conditions. That's what everything affects. Everything affects pre-existing conditions. That's what a pre-existing condition is. It makes you more susceptible to effects. They lied to us. They lied. Right? YouTube. What comments have you? All of you, so many of you watching on YouTube, no comments? You missed all the greatest moments of the whole podcast. What to talk about? Somebody asked me a question, or we're going to end it. I'm going to give it 3 minutes. I'll turn up the music. Comment, question. You guys can come up to speaker too if you want. Invite to speak. Invite to speak if you'd like to. Tamash. Yes, same hire. Oh, you already said that. Yeah. All right. Well, if nothing has come up, then let's see. What do we have coming up? BK. Hola. What's up, BK? Monday is Silent Flute. We got a Lions Den talk. That's a nighttime Lions Den talk that's happening in 50 minutes here. We have, of course, the podcast Tuesday and Wednesday. I'm thinking about consolidating all my shows so that even my Sunday show is just Enlightened Masculinity. I think everything's going to become Enlightened Masculinity. And then everything else is going to be Silent Flute. So the paid members will get 2 or 3 lectures a week, and then the podcasters will also get 2 or 3 lectures a week. And if you're in the paid members, you can also come to the podcast, shifting beliefs, giving little tidbits. But of course, the most powerful stuff is for the Silent Flute. And we have an event Saturday. Peter Kirkwood's collaborating, and I'm contributing to that. And then And then in 3 weeks, we got the next Advanced Beast Camp. So you guys want to get your tickets out here. If you want to come to the Advanced Beast Camp for July, this is going to be the last camp here at the temple before we move. So it's going to be epic. You know, we're going to go all out. Things are opening up here. We had the VIP, the last event, so that was incredible. Even if you don't do the VIP, you gain a lot of information, and we are doing a lot more in-field. So start to get that. Tap in with us. And then, of course, online. There's the level 1. If you have not done the level 1 of the Beast, you don't know what the rest of it is. You're missing out. The guys that just did it, like Dan Newberry, like, you're missing out. You don't know. So you want to do the phase 1 event. Alumni, which are the phase 2 guys that are beaded monks. If you want to do the phase 1 event, it's half off for you. And so that's coming up 3rd weekend and 4th weekend of July. And I think those are all the announcements, right? So it's been a pleasure, and I'll see